people saying that they don't want to be a part of it anymore. And I think y'all are crazy.
Guys, Devon Larratt has just recently pronounced himself about the controversy regarding Engin leaving East versus West. And, I was expecting for him to be addressing that way more, politely. But in fact, he sort of blurred out the whole problem of it, because there was a huge disagreement between Engin and Baxter or both. So big of a disagreement that Engin decided to part ways with them. And that was not approached by Devon. In fact, he just, talked about how great it was to have Baxter and Dexter to have been working for East vs. West, and how amazing that would be for the sport. He did not talk about Engin. He just said that this was, a time of trouble that would certainly pass, and that, about the competition, about the athletes, they would just forget about that and they would join the ship. But I've noticed that he started talking about WL, of how WL failed, that would be the only way that East vs. West would fail as well. But the thing is, WL was very shortened to the Western pullers, right? We didn't have major competition from Europe. And what made East vs. West be what it was, Devon said himself, was the competition. Without the competition, without the peak athletes, with all the major athletes in the world, the best, the most technical, the most strong athletes, there is no East versus West. There is no arm wrestling. The best thing we had on the community was East versus West. Why? Because we had everybody was satisfied, everybody was being well paid, everybody was being well treated. There was literally nothing to talk bad about the venue, about the treatment that they would receive. Everything was just plain simple. But there was a problem internally, and as Engin left, the athletes have not taken that lightly, and most of the European athletes have left as well. Therefore, I cannot imagine how can we progress arm wrestling without the major pullers, because with the major pullers, we can know progress, we can see people progressing, we can see people having better results, people coming back stronger, people going up the rankings. How am I going to grow a sport if I don't have the athletes, the top athletes competing on it? Answering Devon's question, yes, people will not put up to this, because Engin has built East vs. West. The athletes that have been put in East vs. West by Engin will not put up to this, because Engin put them on the spotlight when nobody else would.